All right, let's dive into a story that, at first glance seems like it's just about a guy and his cat, but if you stick with me, you'll see it's really this modern fable, a kind of epic, unseen battle happening in a totally quiet, normal neighborhood.
So at the very center of all this, we've got our two main players. In one corner, you have Dan, the husband, a man who's just completely ruled by superstition. And in the other corner, Lucy, the family cat. And her big crime, at least in Dan's mind, was being a black cat. That's it. That's the conflict that kicks this whole wild ride off.
See, Dan came from a really superstitious family, and he inherited all of it. He genuinely grew to hate this poor cat, convinced Lucy was just a little four-legged bad luck charm. So, naturally, he decided he had to do something about it. He was going to get rid of her for good. And of course, every grand, slightly ridiculous plan needs the right vehicle, doesn't it? For Dan, his chariot was this beast, a 1978 black Chevy Impala with these really slick, shiny red rims. This thing wasn't just a car, nope, it was the chosen weapon for his very important mission.
And so the first trial begins. Dan's got his plan, he's got his Impala all gassed up, he just waits for his wife Shelley to head off to work, and then it's go time.
So, for this first attempt, how far does he go? 20 blocks. Now, in Dan's head, this is a huge distance. He's thinking, there is no way, absolutely no way, a little house cat is finding its way back from this far out. He was completely sure of himself.
The mission itself seems so simple, right? Get Lucy in the car, drive those 20 blocks, open the door, and then cruise back home to a life free of bad feline vibes. Problem solved.
So he pulls into his driveway, feeling pretty pleased with himself, probably has a little smirk on his face, but he has no idea what's actually waiting for him. What do you think he saw?
That's right, Lucy. And she's not just back, she is casually strolling up the driveway like she just went for a little walk around the neighborhood. Dan is just floored. The cat somehow beat him home.
But here's the thing about Dan. He does not give up. One defeat isn't going to stop him. So he waits for his wife to leave the next day, and he decides, okay, round two. Only this time, he's going to up the ante.
And this is where things just get relentless. Day 1, 20 blocks. Fail. So the next day, he drives her 40 blocks away. He gets home, and wouldn't you know it, there she is, just sitting on the porch waiting for him. This went on for days. Each time Dan would drive further and further away, and every single time he'd come home to that same little furry face.
And according to his wife Shelley, this constant failure was really starting to get to him. It wasn't just a little project anymore. Dan's frustration was just building and building, and he became obsessed with trying to outsmart this cat.
So finally, Dan just hits his breaking point. He decides he's going to make one last epic attempt. This was going to be it, the big one. A final, desperate plan, so confusing, so complicated, that there's no chance any cat could possibly find its way home.
His quote-unquote foolproof plan was to drive for miles, making a whole series of intentionally confusing turns. He goes right, then a left, drives all the way over a bridge, takes another right, and then one more right, just to be sure. He leaves Lucy there, totally convinced that this time he has finally won. So, hours go by, no Dan, the sun starts to set. Back at the house, Shelley and Lucy are just chilling, going about their day, and then the phone rings.
It's Dan. After all this time, he's finally calling. But his voice, it doesn't sound triumphant. It doesn't sound relieved. It sounds like something else entirely.
So why is he calling? Is he just checking in to gloat? Or is he calling for help? And if so, who is he calling for?
A very first thing, he asks his wife. And you can just hear the desperation in his voice is, "Baby, is the cat there?" And Shelley, having no idea what's been going on, just looks around and goes, yeah, why? And you can just imagine Dan on the other end of the line just absolutely losing his mind.
And then comes the punchline of a lifetime. He yells, "Put that son of a bitch on the phone, I'm lost and need directions." Turns out, in his brilliant master plan to lose the cat, the only person Dan managed to get lost was himself.
Which kind of leaves us with one final question, doesn't it? The man who was so dead set that this cat was a curse, something he had to get rid of, was now desperately relying on the one creature who, without a single doubt, knew exactly how to get home.